Hey guys, before we get started with this episode, I just have to say that for at least this episode and possibly episodes in the future, I won't actually have the sign in the episode saying which character I'm voicing. I'm gonna have to. I didn't know that. So basically, 2 videos that I edited ago was the one where I made a meme where I was editing different video clips to different sounds. And ever since then, when I try and put a text in the video, it doesn't actually show up when rendered, or only rarely shows up, because I think a couple of Ray signs came up in the last episode, but I didn't see any of the other ones. But yeah, so until I can figure out how to get that fixed, I won't be having the character names in the episode. Anyway, I'll send you to the start of this chapter. Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my Hero Academia Chapter 303 read-through, which is titled Big 3. No, it's titled Top 3. The Big 3 are a completely different group. Anyway, this is a chapter that once again picks up immediately after the last chapter ended, because in the last chapter we saw Best Jeanist and Hawks standing outside of Endeavor's hospital room, eavesdropping in on Toya's backstory, and this chapter starts with them entering the room. Now there are a lot of quick one-panel flashbacks and everything in this chapter, plus going back to Hawks's text-to-speak voice. So if you guys didn't enjoy that 3 chapters ago, do not watch this video. Anyway, as I said, the chapter starts with Best Jeanist and Hawks opening the door to Endeavor's hospital room and entering. Hawks types out, "Excuse us, sorry about this, we kinda eavesdropped. Would you mind if we joined in on the family journey?" "Best Jeanist and Hawks? I got released yesterday, so I was just wandering around collecting information where I can." We see that Ray, upon seeing Hawks' condition, she kneels on the floor, head to ground in a traditional Japanese way. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, I've never done it. And she said, "On behalf of my son, I apologize." But Hawks quickly types out, "Oh, no. That was not why I'm here. It didn't even cross my mind. Please, ma'am, you don't have to apologize at all." And while he was typing this out, Best Jeanist walks over and helps Ray back to her feet, saying, "We've only come to acquire information on Darby, though our eavesdropping was like illegal denim." And Ray thinks to herself, what the hell is illegal denim? Understanding the origins of his resentment is an invaluable clue to our investigation. Now we wish to get the rest of the story from the man himself, how he survived, and how he turned into Darby. I used to watch videos of you all the time back in the day. I didn't think my childhood obsession would end up in this state. What a shock." Hawks then walks up to Shoto, puts an arm on his shoulder and looks at him with what I can only assume to be a shit-eating grin, because we can't actually see his mouth, but he's very slyly squinting his eyes and looking at Shoto, saying, "This This hadn't come up in the conversation since it was all about Toya-kun. But is Shoto-kun's burn scar also Endeavor-san's doing? Shoto thinks to himself, so close, before Ray says, that was me, prompting both Hawks and Shoto to turn around to her. Hawks then realizes the meanings behind when Ray said, our son, who had every right to resent me, he called me his mother again. I see. He thinks to his own father and his own mother, and then thinks, meanwhile, I couldn't face these people myself. I gave up and left them. Shoto-kun, you're super cool. Endeavor-san, it's a hellscape out there. Right. The locations of Shigaraki, Darby, Himiko Toga, Spinner, Skeptic, 132 members of the Liberation Front, and 7 of the near high-end Nomu are all unknown. Along with this, Shigaraki and the Nomu have liberated 6 prisons beside Tartarus. It is not yet known where all the escapees are. Several pivotal members of the Hero Public Safety Commission have perished, been severely injured, or otherwise rendered unable to enact their duties properly. And heroes, seeing that the situation isn't getting any better, are handing their resignations in left and right. With villains on the rise, and no faith left in the heroes, ordinary citizens are arming themselves and taking matters into their own hands, creating a situation where there is more damage brought by their recklessness. As it is, the government's requesting the relief and help from heroes from other countries, but with the commission at a standstill, the process of sending in heroes is a mess. That pretty much sums up what happened in the last 2 days. It's just as your wife says. You have no other path to venture down than fight. But you've got us. This responsibility isn't just on the number 1. I hope you won't keep this matter for only the family to deal with. What? Why? Hawks then thinks back on what he had said to Best Jeanist 3 chapters ago, saying, even if what Darby says about the Todoroki family is true, it's not the same now. Someone who wants to do right, I want to support them. Consider this a team-up between the top 3 starting today. I've already put my life on the line for Hawks. The road to hell might as well be a runway for me now. And then, with us and your family on board, you think you can walk with a bit of weight off your shoulders? Now, I should have mentioned this while I was talking about it, but as Hawks was talking to Endeavor, when he mentions all of the League members, we get a split panel of each of them. We then see the destruction of Jakku again, or maybe one of the other cities that Gigantomachia tore through. We see a villain attack versus civilians. I'm not sure if this is the Seltzer Water Gang or some other attack. And then we see the silhouettes of 5 people. I'm assuming these are the heroes from the other countries, though I have no clue who they could be, as, once again, these may be some of the American heroes that were shown in 2 Heroes or in Vigilantes. I haven't seen either of them, so I don't know. Anyway, Hawks and Best Jeanist's declaration to help Endeavour, cause him to cry again, and he says, "Of course I accept." No one else really has anything to say to that, except for Natsuo, who says, "Just until you stop toying me." Right. Right then. The first step is explaining yourself to everyone. You can't dodge Darby's accusations now that they're out there. I briefly thought over your potential response and what to mention, but there was one odd factor. What exactly is one for all? Fuyumi thinks back and says, that was from earlier. She remembers what the reporters were asking them as they were walking in. Natsuo thinks, geez, figured there would be a crowd like this when we showed up to Central, but still. We heard that during his fight with Shigaraki, Endeavour had mentioned something about one for all. Do you know what it is? Could it have some relation to the supervillain, All for One? Let's hurry inside. One for all. We need to know what that could be. This mention of one for all triggers Endeavour's memory from the fight against Shigaraki. This is Endeavour. I've engaged Shigaraki at the hospital ruins to get one for all. One for all? Sorry for using the private frequency. There's a possibility that Shigaraki will be after me. Deku? This mention of Deku, well, he obviously knows who he has to ask, and this ties into later panels in this chapter, but immediately after Endeavour says Deku, we cut to a half page of Bakugo's face screaming, Deku, you dumbass! Why am I awake but you're still sound asleep? We see that Bakugo, while he may still be spitting up blood, he's been secured by his classmates. Tsuyu's wrapped her tongue around him, while Sato carries him, and Mineta for some reason hangs off his feet. He sure spent no time moping after he woke up. He's finally getting taken somewhere else. Apologies, Tsuyu-chan. I had imagined the worst when I saw that injury of his. Looks like he's only gotten louder than before instead. We then get the arrival of Best Girl, saying, Class Press, Togayami and Kaminari said they have been discharged now. Is Midoriya doing alright? Now, she does, when she speaks behind Ida, he had his hands like this, as he normally does, and as he turns to her, he goes, and so Jiro thinks to herself, what the hell is that pose? Anyway, from what I've heard, I'm anxious. Hi. Great explosion, murder god dynamite. So you're unharmed. Does this look unharmed to you? I want to speak with Midoriya-kun, but All Might requested to be alone with him for now. All Might? Hawks is surprised that the former #1 hero would be in the room alone with Midoriya, and yeah, that makes sense. Hawks doesn't know his connection to him. Also, where the hell is Inko? Like, we've been in this hospital for what? 3 chapters now? And they were in there for 2 days before we got here, so why hasn't Inko shown up? Anyway, the last page is cutting inside Midoriya's hospital room while he's still unconscious with All Might by the side of his bed. And All Might thinks, I feel it. Within young Midoriya. Within one for all. Right now. you're having a chat with the previous users, aren't you? And that's where the chapter ends. Okay, so just want to say, not overly happy with the way I did this chapter. I'm not going to redo it just because I'm not happy with some of the voices I put out, because these voices change episode to episode anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Not a lot happened in this chapter. We got the recap of what we saw in the Hawks and Best Units chapter and the League of Villains chapter. We got some talking between the top 3 heroes saying that we're a united front. We need to go out and address Darby's accusations, and we'll help you with that, and then we'll help Darby because we want to know from him what happened after that night, why he turned into how he is, which I want to know too, because they said he was 13, I want to say 13 in the last chapter. Then the next time we see him was when he met Giran, or well, when Giran introduced him to Shigaraki. So what happened in those times? But yeah, other than that, we just get the continuation of Bakugo's scene from a couple chapters back, and Endeavor realizing that Midoriya knows something that he doesn't, something that could be very important, and I think it's about time that Midoriya and All Might tell people about One for All. Like, what's the point in hiding it? Honestly, I never really understood why they hid it from the public. Like, okay, I understood All Might's reasoning behind it, where the number 1 hero was given a quirk, and that in being revealed, villains could go after people he cared about to hold them hostage in exchange for him willfully giving up All for One. Okay, I understand that, but to tell 3 people, did he even tell 3 people? He told Sonata, he told Sugeichi. I don't know if he was the one who told Recovery Girl, but yeah, why only 3 people? Like, surely Aizawa, it would have been very helpful for him to know that Midoriya has this power that's been building up exponentially, or so I believe, through several generations, and he got it from All Might. That would have helped him very much in the starting days of his schooling. Like, Bakugo, sure, Midoriya told him at the start of the year, but he didn't believe that, and then that information then helped him figure it out on his own months down the track. Like, could tell Inko. In fact, I'm still surprised Midoriya didn't tell Inko. He can trust Uraraka, he can trust Ida, he can trust Shoto. Like, if he told the people that are meant to be helping him, then they would be able to more accurately help him if they know everything that they're dealing with. And I reckon if All Might had told Endeavor, their dynamic would have been different as well. It could have been better or worse, really, because on one hand you've got Endeavor being more upset that the person he's been chasing after so long wasn't even born with this power. And on the other hand, he's just like, I'm the number one hero who was born with the power. I'm the number one true quirk wielding hero. So it could have gone either way with Endeavour. Endeavour now, I see no reason not to tell him. Hawks, now that he's not with the Hero Commission, sure, tell him. While he was with the Hero Commission, no. You do not want the Hero Commission knowing about One for All. But I mean, the Hero Commission is basically gone anyway, so who cares? Tell everyone. I'm going to end this chapter now before I go on another tangent about things that aren't actually related to what happened. So I'll catch you in the next one.